Welcome back to Mile High Hoops. Today we're talking about the Golden State Warriors, my favorite team. So we're going to have some bias here, definitely. That's just intrinsic when talking about favorite team. Um, but we're sticking with the AI generated images. My guy, Underhand Free Throw, said that he liked them. And I think they're pretty cool too. And so go check out his podcast as well. It's pretty good. But I figured what I do is that we're going to have a theme to the AI generated images. And so today we're doing Bloodborne. Favorite team, favorite video game, why not? There is a bit of an issue with him though. Some of the less popular players don't really pop up as often. So getting pictures for like Jonathan Kaminga and stuff just wasn't working. Um, but we'll definitely see that some of these are really cool and some are pretty cursed. So let's get right into it. Side note, as I was listening back to this, editing it, there's some weird clicking going on. I don't know what's happening with that. I'll try to get it fixed for the next one, but hopefully it's not too annoying. So we're going to start with additions. Dante DiVincenzo is definitely the most important one here. The Warriors signed him to a mid-level exception, and this is just awesome. DiVincenzo came out of Villanova, and when he was playing for Villanova, I mean, he was the sixth man. He'd come off the bench as like this scoring guard that would defend multiple positions in college. He'd fly to the rack, grabbing rebounds. He could create some off the ball for assists and everything, but he's just a pretty dang good knockdown shooter, especially. And the thing about his shooting though is that I saw some article talking about his percentages, and he was a much better shooter when he was going off rhythm and so off dribble. Um, so catching it from Draymond's short roll or something and putting up shots is going to be a little bit less accurate than him creating it himself. But he's just such a good, well-rounded player that he'll fit right into this Warriors team, and I think he's a great pickup. The next free agent is JaMychal Green. He's been a career 36% shooter from three, but last season for the Nuggets, he kind of fell off a cliff shooting. He only took about two a game and made 26% of them, which is pretty ugly. I bet he could get back to mid 30s pretty easily. But I mean, he's just a solid defender, rebounder, and if he can stretch the floor a little bit, he'll be positive for them. I think he's mostly just insurance in case the young guys aren't progressing as fast as the Warriors would hope so. But on a minimum, he's a good pickup. We'll go on to rookies. I haven't seen much of Patrick Baldwin or Ryan Rollins. Guy Santos played quite a bit in the summer league, so I got to see him quite a bit. And Guy is a 6'8" forward, but he's got quite a few guard skills. He wasn't shooting the ball amazingly, but he was just so crafty and weird in pick and rolls that he was just getting to the rim and finishing pretty well. I think the three of those guys, I mean, as all 19, 20-year olds, just keeping them around is definitely going to be just very beneficial. I think Guy definitely fits this Warriors roster the most, especially with how creative he is, and he's just a good passer. He can run pick and rolls, so I'd like to keep him around and see where he goes. Now, onto Jonathan Kaminga. Kaminga only played 17 minutes a game last season. I think with Otto Porter being gone here, he's going to be getting a lot more of those. I don't think they'll play JaMychal Green over him this season too much. But he was 50% field goal percentage, 33 from three, and was not super great from the free throw line. He shot 68%. But I think his growth is going to be substantial each year. You can see it when he's playing, especially in the summer league. I know a lot of people were talking about him maybe having an attitude issue, which it kind of looks like that. The way I see it is that he just wants to be good right now and as good as possible right now. And so, like, I think those temper flare ups are more of like him just like, come on, like, let's, like, why didn't I make that, you know? And I think it's just really his competitiveness and him just really wanting to be better. But I can really see him growing into like this stretchy defender that can space the floor and attack the rim. He's definitely pretty decent at dribble penetration, like just blowing past his guy. And he does have a little bit of a bag. Once he does get into the lane, he can do that little spin move and he can jump out of the gym, so he can just dunk it on anybody. He does like to two-hand dunk almost everything, which has led to get him getting blocked quite a bit. So he does need to work on some one-hand dunks a little bit, and I think he'll be a little bit more effective. Now Moses Moody also didn't play a whole lot last season, but I mean he's just so solid at like pretty much everything. He shot 36% from three. I just think, especially last year, he was a better fit to play actual meaningful minutes last season than Kaminga. I mean, he played amazing defense. He shot the three really well, and he just wasn't a negative anywhere, which I think as a player coming off the bench, if you can keep the ship afloat and not create too many mistakes while also being able to be solid at the things you do well, then I think your minutes are worth it. And Moody really fits as like this great role player. I think he can definitely get quite a bit better too. I mean, in the summer league, he was cooking on some of those guys. So I'd like to see him grow into like an Andre Iguodala 2.0. Like if he could work on his pass game a little bit and stretch the floor, he won't be as athletic as him, but I mean he's just a solid player. I think the Warriors really got a steal with him. Now James Wiseman, um, there's a lot of polarizing opinions on James Wiseman. I'm still pretty high on Wiseman. He didn't look wonderful in the summer league, like he wasn't dominating the way you'd think that your second overall pick would. But he's just a pretty dang good shooter. He's got a pretty good form. He rises up over big men in the mid range really well, and he's super athletic. He runs the court really well. He can get up vertically to block shots. I just the way he plays, where he's just running full steam down the court because he is so athletic, is a little scary as far as him getting injured in the future. But I think just he just needs more minutes on the court, and especially with this roster this next season, he'll be able to play quite a bit more than before. And I really hope he just stays healthy and is able to actually be on the court this year because those minutes are just invaluable to him. Now, Jordan Poole, the sous chef, he played the third most minutes last season for them. He shot also 36% from three, and it was at a pretty high volume at 6.3 a game. And Poole is just, he's this guy that just fit into this mold of watching Steph Curry growing up and just emulating his game as best he could. And you see it on the court with how incredibly creative he is. He has elite creativity when he's on the basketball court. It does lead him into making some dumb mistakes sometimes, him throwing it away or taking a pretty crazy shot. But even last season, he got quite a bit better with that. I think pretty much all he needs to work on is just getting better as a defender and passer. And other than that, like he does still thread the needle pretty well sometimes. He can get to the rack at will. He's so quick, and his first step is so quick that he'll get to the rim and just finish super creatively. And so Poole is just an incredible player. I really hope that somehow the Warriors can pull a rabbit out of their hat and re-sign him because he's going to be worth a lot of money. Now, the Warriors still haven't re-signed Andre Iguodala. I think they're waiting on if he wants to retire or not. I thought I'd throw this in there just in case, but I think he would be a vital player on this team, even if he doesn't actually play. He'll just be kind of like Udonis Haslem for the Heat. It was pretty much every game I was watching when Kuminga was out there and he'd make a mistake, or even if he made a great play, Iguodala was the first guy to go over and talk to him about it. And so, I mean, that type of mentorship is just invaluable, especially to like your young player that has like superstar potential. Getting that type of advice from someone with as much cred as Iguodala is just huge. Now on to Kevon Looney. I'll get this out of the way. Kevon Looney's the GOAT. If you watched the finals and some of the other series, Kevon Looney is just this menace that no team scouts because he is so ugly. But for real though, like Kevon Looney is the perfect center for this team. I mean, he doesn't block a lot of shots, but he is always in the right spot. He knows how to run this Warriors offense where, I mean, he can throw the right pass every once in a while. And I've never seen a guy that's so entirely unathletic get so many rebounds that wasn't 800 pounds. So, I mean, he just boxes people out. He clamps big men. He can switch onto guards, and he moves his feet so dang well. It's super impressive. I remember watching the Warriors versus the Suns, and the way that he would just clamp Chris Paul, even, was pretty amazing. I mean, he's definitely going to get blown by here and there, but like he does above and beyond what you can ask for your center, like all the time, and especially on the deal that he's on, it's just pretty incredible. Now onto Andrew Wiggins. When they traded for him, I had high hopes. I thought he would improve on the Warriors, but I never saw him improving like this. In those finals games, Wiggins unlocked like a new level of himself. I mean, he was playing ridiculous defense. Not Kawhi Leonard level, but he was just clamping up Jalen Brown, working really well against Jason Tatum whenever he was on him, stretching the floor, hitting threes. He realized that if he runs towards the hoop and jumps as high as he can, that he can get almost every rebound. And he's also on an expiring, so we'll have to re-sign him. Hopefully, the Warriors can get him on something less than a max because I don't think he's quite worth that. But he's still a very valuable player to this team. And I think he can just only keep improving in this team. And it's just great to see how well he fit. Now, Klay Thompson. Klay has pretty much always been one of my favorite Warriors at this point, but this last season was a little rough to watch for him. I mean, it was his season coming back, but I mean, he's got to really work on that lower body strength. You can tell from the way he shoots. He doesn't get the same type of lift that he used to, so he ends up leaving shots short quite a bit lately. And he's still got that just quick trigger that he's always got where he's catching it and he's letting it fly. He's letting it fly almost every time he catches it if he's got a single like smeckle of daylight. Um, but I mean, I was fine with how much shots he was taking most of the time. I mean, he's only going to keep getting better back to his own self. He's only 31, but if he works on that lower body strength a little bit and can get some more oomph in that shot, then he'll be right back to where he was. I think he's definitely lost a step as a defender, though. Now, Draymond Green is another topic of discussion here because he's up for an extension pretty soon. But like what we got out of him in the finals was really all you can ask out of him. Some of the games he wasn't being aggressive on offense at all, which kind of does hurt us quite a bit. But I think it was in game six, like the last game. Uh, Draymond realized, like, let's just shoot the ball when we're wide open and attack the rim actually when they're sitting in the paint, when they're guarding me at the top of the three. And it just made us unstoppable. at that point. I mean, he was just by putting the ball on the ground and going straight into the paint. He doesn't have to have any moves really, and he can just flip it up, either finish it or dish it to Kavan, and everything works out in the world. He's still a great defender. He has kind of lost some as a perimeter defender, but I mean, down low and as a help defender, he's always going to be elite. And so hopefully the Warriors can re-sign him. I'm thinking around 15 million and not anywhere near that max. So this wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about the chef, the goat, not the goat, but Steph has made a case for himself to be top 10 these days, I think. But this new version of Steph that we saw this year, he was just so much stronger. I mean, he wasn't a liability on defense. He was much more active on that side, and he was holding his own strength-wise quite a bit better. His three-point percentage and everything wasn't quite as good, but I mean, he was getting to the rack better too. So I think that kind of offsets a little bit. I just this new version of Steph is so good. He's just going to continue to be this level for so long, and it's just great to see. I mean, what else can you really say about Steph Curry? It's Steph Curry. He's going to be shooting threes. He's going to be knocking them down. He's going to be celebrating. He's going to be laying on the floor. He's going to be doing his night-night celebration. So, I mean, Steph is just incredible. That's really all there is to say. Now, this is getting really long too, but we got to just throw out here wishing the best to Otto Porter and Gary Payton II. Sucks that they're gone, but them stepping out is just giving minutes to Kaminga and Moody, which is good. They did their part. Wish them both the best. Now, wins for the season. They're going to have less than last season. I think that's just a given by losing a couple key role players. But new guys are stepping in, so you never know. But I assume they'll be around 50-ish wins, maybe high 40s. I don't think they'll be one or two seed. They might be like 3, 4, or 5, but they're still going to be really good. I think they're still title contenders, but they just won't be as impressive in the regular season. But thanks for listening. Wishing you all the best. Let me know what you like and dislike, and then give me any ideas for theme of the next video, whether that's all the players looking like they're from the band Kiss, or your favorite video game, or your favorite other thing. Just let me know, and we'll try to make it happen in one. But like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.